Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today from the New York Post, Ohio lawmaker wants to allow utilities to adjust homeowners' thermostats, water heaters. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Government wanted to come in and ensure that you are abiding by whatever the particular policies and measures are in that particular state. In this case, Ohio. And, what could possibly go wrong if you opt into this? And we see this across the board, do we not, ladies and gentlemen? Where at least when it comes to Democrats and the left, and maybe even elements of the GOP, or in this case, the RINO, the Republican in name only, of course, they want you to rely on them. As we've always said here, government is confidence, economy is confidence, and if people are willing to surrender a little bit of their individuality, their independence, so that government can take care of them, they will overwhelmingly do that. And we saw that. We saw the challenges and difficulties right through COVID. I think that was the perfect example of how government overreach can affect and impact our lives. And some may even go back all the way to 9/11, the impact of the Patriot Act and these sorts of things. Is because we see this in Europe, right? The mindset, the collective mindset of the government knows best. It will tell you, right? The greater good, the greater good. Who are you as an individual to decide whether or not how you want to adjust your thermostat? Why should you be able to adjust your thermostat and stay cooler when other people can't, or creates a burden on the system? But I digress, ladies and gentlemen, because I could go off on that for quite some time. Ohio lawmakers are weighing a new energy program that would let utilities temporarily adjust household thermostats and water heaters, but only for customers who sign up. So those willing to surrender part of their liberties, perhaps for, a cheaper monthly payment and so forth, then, I guess that would be something you could decide. House Bill 427, introduced this week in the General Assembly, will create an opt-in demand response program aimed at cutting strain on the state's power grid during peak usage, such as summer heat waves and winter freezes. So maybe why are we not looking at the power infrastructure then? Why are we not doing that? Oh, because it would be bureaucracy to try to make changes to that. Oh my goodness, we already know about the bureaucracy, right? So here we have Rep. Roy Klopfenstein, a RINO, the bill's sponsor, said the plan extends to proven tool already used by the industry. We'll get into that here in just a moment. So demand response programs have proven to be a vital tool for our large commercial users. I'm sure. And it's important that similar programs are made available to residential and small commercial users, he said in a statement. So they started off with businesses and industries. Of course, they use it as a cost-saving measure, right? If you comply with this, if you're part of this program, then we can give you better pricing and this, that, and the other. It's all rather interesting. But here we have from 19 News, we have Chris Fry here. Let's see what he has to say.
Is proposing an idea that might be a point of contention in many households. But he says the plan could lower your bill and maybe put more money in your pocket. 19's Stephen Hernandez has the story.
This summer, we're super hot and no AC, no nothing. All we could work with was fans. It's super frustrating.
You can ask almost anyone in Lakewood about power outages, and they'll tell you all about it and how difficult it is to deal with them. But would you be willing to give up control of your thermostat to improve your power grid?
I mean, if it's voluntary, I don't mind it. That seems like an okay idea.
They can't let a private company do that.
It's a question Ohio Representative Roy Klopfenstein brings forward through House Bill 427. If approved, it would set up a voluntary system where utility companies can step in and make some utility adjustments.
They give them the ability to manage peak demand. And peak demand is where we have blackouts and where bad things happen if they can't manage that really hot day or that really cold day.
Managing blackouts is at the top of Pejachoka's mind.
I just don't want to have power outages. So if that works, then it works.
According to a statement released by the Ohio House website, customers would have the ability to opt out, and utility companies would have the ability to pay customers back for participating.
So I think the lady that was right was absolutely correct, and she made an excellent point here. But even that was that, private companies, here she is right here. Private companies aren't allowed to do these things, right? Utility companies aren't allowed to create restrictions, or as we've seen here during Donald Trump's first term and then Joe Biden's terms, where they were shutting down conservatives, remember? I mean, even Melania and Barron Trump were debanked. And we saw that with Laura Loomer. We saw that with Gavin McGinnis. We saw it with Enrico Tarrio, where these banks and institutions were cutting off their money. Let's see what she has to say here.
So it's still one step too far for Mary Sweeney.
Nope, they can't do any of that. Nope, that's why you own your own property. That's the kind of the foundation of the United States.
The bill still has a long way to go before it can become...
And I agree with her 100% because this is a utility company. They can't base it on your race. They can't base it on your income. They can't base it on your political views. And it's quite interesting, is it not? And, we have some additional news coverage here, basically covering the same thing. And this is the initial story here from X. And, of course, if you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, my social media links are down below. And just as a reminder, so hit that like button if you guys remember when we covered this story. I can't believe it's been 3 years. But you guys might remember when we covered this. Company locks customers from changing smart thermostats due to energy emergency. So here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. When I mentioned earlier what could possibly go wrong, let me know down in the comments. Well, here we have it, and we covered this here on the channel. A utility company prevented thousands of customers in Colorado from changing the temperature of their smart thermostats due to an energy emergency, leaving customers upset and confused. Minneapolis-based utility company Xcel confirmed to KMGH-TV in Denver that 22,000 customers who had signed up for the Colorado AC Reward Program had their smart thermostats locked. The program gives customers a discounted rate, but forces them to relinquish some control of their devices to Xcel. I love that phrasing. Forces them. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we have it, right? You give up some of your freedoms. You give up some of your privacy for a few dollars. And that's how they get you, right? As the old phrasing says, that's how they get you. And it's just to save that extra dollars. 88 degrees, I would not survive that. I can't survive 78 degrees. That was the old, remember Jimmy Carter era. 78 in the summer and 68 in the winter. Now, 68 in the winter, I could probably somewhat handle. I like the cold weather, but I don't like heat. And so, 88 degrees would not work for me. So this must be heat here. I'm not really sure, but 88 would not do for that. Anyway, they're talking about this in Colorado during the summer. 88 is like, what's the point? What's the point of air conditioning at 88 degrees? I mean, that's just heat. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I just thought this was amazing to me that we're still here. So the government is always going to continue to push these kinds of things because this is what they do. Instead of trying to fix the power problem, right, which is the issue, right? It's the power grid and probably population. Of course, now we're taking care of the overwhelming degree of particular groups of individuals that have made their way into the United States under the Biden administration, who obviously contributes to a lot of this as well. I'm not saying them specifically is the problem. I think most of it is government trying to, again, infringe and control what we do under the guise of saving money and, of course, saving the planet, which they didn't mention in this because they have to be very careful with the wording. I'm sure the lawmakers are going to be very careful of that, like Roy Klopfenstein here, a RINO there. So you see the establishment still has its shadow figures out there even during what would be now the dismantling of the establishment. Of course, we'll never get rid of the establishment, but I wax on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. Would you allow the government to control, or the power company, which is a utility, which they're not supposed to do this. But anyway, nonetheless, guys, so would you opt into something like this if it would save you a few dollars? And would you have a problem with them controlling your thermostat? But nonetheless, guys, as I mentioned earlier, below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include affiliate marketing links, as you guys know how those work. But, of course, your likes, your shares, and your comments help out the channel. So I thank you so much across New Tech, that's BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey for your guys' continued support. And appearing there on the screen for all of you here on YouTube, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when it's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.